Are we going to get any altcoin season at all, or even a blow off top this time, right? Do you think it's ever going to happen? Do you think we're running out of time, right? People always panic and they always ask what's going to happen next, right? I'll show you guys direct evidence today of why I think we're going to have an altcoin season, right? So this is just happened like about 2 hours ago, right? And basically this whale has about $4 billion. He's like from like 15 years ago holding Bitcoin, more like 13 years ago, 12 years ago. And he holds like a few $1 billion in Bitcoin. And look at what he's been doing, right? Look at what he's been doing. He's basically been selling Bitcoin at 1K at a time, right? Every hour or so, sells 1K Bitcoin, moves 1K of Bitcoin. And what does he buy, right? He buys Ethereum. He buys like 10.5K of Ethereum for $46 million. He sells $108 million Bitcoin. Then he gets, buys another 6K of ETH. That's 30 mil. Another 7K of ETH, 31 mil. And he sells another K of Bitcoin, which is 108 mil. And he buys 6K of ETH, 8K of ETH, 5K of ETH, right? That's like about another 80 mil right there. So basically, we are seeing this happen with multiple whales. It's not just this one guy. Like we're seeing this happen with a number of whales, right? So it's the big argument against altcoin season has been two this bull run. One is that people say that, okay, well, Wall Street is never going to rotate into altcoins because they only love Bitcoin. Why would they ever buy Solana or some meme on Solana, right? Why would they? It seems to make sense, except Wall Street is now all in on ETH, are they not? Tell me if they're not, right? So they've been look at the stocks of Bitminer and SBET, right? They're still up like 3 to 4x from the bottom. They're still up 3 to 4x from the bottom. Who's buying that? That's not crypto bros. That's actually Wall Street money because it's listed on the NASDAQ, right? Listed on the NASDAQ, they've been the ones buying it. Today's episode, we're going to talk about if altcoin season is still going to happen and which coins are going to greatly outperform Bitcoin, right? Which assets are going to greatly outperform Bitcoin in the coming few weeks, few months, few years, right? It's a very important episode. You don't want to miss this because what if Bitcoin tops around 130, 140K? So what if Bitcoin only has another 10, 20% to go for this cycle? Then what are you going to do for the next 2-3 years, right? So basically, the other major argument against Bitcoin, against there's no altcoin season, is that the Fed hasn't started QE yet, and the Fed is not going to cut rates. But right now, Trump is putting so much pressure on them. He's fired one of the 7 governors, Lisa Cook. I've told you guys all about it in the previous 2 episodes. And he's also even named his own Federal Reserve governor, a guy called Steve Moran, right? The guy who ran his China trade policy. Well done, buddy. He's put him in there in the Federal Reserve and as well. So he's replaced, and guys like Waller, he put in there himself during the first Trump term. So Trump basically will soon control 4 out of the 7 Federal Reserve governors. So basically, he will have a lot of power, a lot of say inside the Federal Reserve, and I do think the Federal Reserve is going to stop QT. Maybe not start QE, but stop QT sometime pretty soon because the reverse repo is running out of money. Anyways, I spoke about that before. So 2 of the reasons why people don't think we're going to get an altcoin season, I don't think that's true. And as you just saw, whales that have been holding Bitcoin for like 13, 14 years, like we just saw with this guy. This whale has like $8 billion of Bitcoin. He sold about almost $4 billion so far of Bitcoin, like selling 100 million at a time, 1,000 Bitcoins at a time, and just buying Ethereum. He's bought like close to $4 billion. He's not the only one. We've seen at least a few wallets do this. It may or may not be the same guy, but it doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. He's buying almost as much Bitcoin as SBET or Bitminer, those Ethereum treasury companies. Okay, before we get onto those bigger questions for today's episode, let's first answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo He-Man use? Well, Pablo uses exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show any ID. That means even the exchange can't see who you are. That means the IRS can't see you, the tax office can't see you, FBI, CIA, nobody can see you. That's why Pablo has made this big deal with them. For my followers, only weekly prizes up to $25,000, right? Not monthly, but weekly prizes, weekly. And look at this. Every week they're giving out $2,000, $4,000, $8,000, $15,000, $25,000 just by trading, right? Just by using your trading volume, right? You can be in the top 60th of this competition and still win prizes. And that's not a competition that's exchange-wide. That's only for people who click on the link and be a Pablo follower who uses this exchange. Or in the top 10 of trading P&L, profit and loss, okay? So, here we go. That's, remember folks, limited time only. This offer finishes on September the 12th. September the 12th. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then just remember the description is, the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below. Or if you're on any other platform, just click on my profile page and there is my link tree or stand link. We click on that and basically it'll be the first deal that pops up because this is a great deal. Okay, let's get back to the markets. And remember folks, this deal is only on the Pablo Heman link, only on the Pablo link. Okay, so Bitcoin is basically, we're about 6 hours away, 5 hours away from the weekly close, and this doesn't look good. You've got the double top here, topping tail, two weekly topping tails, and boom, right? And then we hit these 5 tops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If we look at it on a daily chart, these are 5 tops, and this should be significant support. And it looks like we're not going to hold it. The level I've said many times, this is actually 107.4K, and it looks like we're going to break down here. The best case scenario is break down with a wick down, scare everybody, and then close above for the next weekly bar, and then keep going up. That would be the optimistic scenario. The pessimistic scenario would be a close couple of days, 2 or 3 days below this key 107.4K area, and then we could explore even lower, right? Like next support level might be at this level, which would be around 100K level, right? So kind of scary. But you know, folks are waiting for the altcoin season, and in my opinion, altcoin season has already kind of started. But for folks who are waiting for altcoin season, I guess, you know, here's take comfort in the fact that, look at this. We basically today, even on a day like this, we have Bitcoin being outperformed by Ethereum, right? Because Ethereum, even Bitcoin 14-year-old, 13, 10-year-old Bitcoin whales are selling Bitcoin to buy ETH. Bitcoin was red, it's like barely green, 0.09%. It was almost red. It was pretty much red a minute ago when I checked, but Ethereum is firmly up 2%. And look at all this, right? So some alts decided to follow Ethereum. Crow, unfortunately, down on the day. Look, most coins, at least half the coins, are following Ethereum. So these whales who pivot to ETH, once ETH pumps to like 6K, 8K, 9K, they will pivot again to Solana, to BNB, XRP, to the smaller coins. And one coin to keep in mind is this Trumpcoin, right? I'm actually trading this, as I told you folks, on Bitunix, right? On Bitunix, all I have to do is lower this this leverage. This is the new Trumpcoin coming out, or Liberty Finance. I've told you guys all about it, just giving you an update. If I lower this leverage from 20x to 1x, then I'm not trading with any leverage, then basically it's like I'm trading at spot value. And so as we can see here, the price pretty much, basically, I was talking about it with folks around 23 cents, and it popped up to like 39.5 cents today. But that's interesting, right? Big topping tail, and this coin comes out on Monday, or roughly about 24 hours from now, and we do this big topping tail here as well, but pulls back, 3 bars pull back, and then up we go again. I think this is just trying to freak people out. I mean, let's say if we end up at 31 cents. 31 cents for Trump coin it doesn't make sense with the market cap. There's 100 billion coins altogether, and the retail gets about 25 billion, but only 5 billion is released right now. So at 20 cents when I told you guys about it, the market cap was only around 1 billion for Trump's DeFi coin. The FDV, fully diluted value, would be around 20 billion at that time. Now, at 31 cents, the market cap is just over 1.5 billion. That's pretty small for a Trump's coin, right? The Trump meme coin, FDV, went to 77 billion. The FDV right now is 31 billion, so it's still less than 50% of where the Trump meme coin was. So this is still quite low. I think there's a good chance we get above this 40 cents, right? No guarantees in the market, but I was telling you guys around 21, 22 cents anyway, about 3 or 4 videos ago. So there you go. It comes out tomorrow. So what is the coin or asset that has significantly outperformed Bitcoin for the last 10 years? You might think, whoa, Pablo, there's nothing that can outperform Bitcoin for the last 10, 11 years, since like 2014, right? That's not possible. For the last 11 years to outperform Bitcoin? Oh, yes, buddy. Oh, yes, it has. Oh, yes, it has. See, here's Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin at 18,000% or 184x since, what is it? I've just randomly clicked on here. 11th August 2014, right? But there's this other asset, you might be able to read it already, that's went on 39,254% or 392x since then. Okay, so and we can see then if we adjust the timeline, sometimes Bitcoin outperforms this thing. It's called Nvidia, and sometimes Nvidia, it's a stock on the New York Stock Exchange, and it's like, oh, never heard of it. It's some tiny stock. It's actually the biggest stock in the world. It's actually was the biggest GPU gaming semiconductor chip stock in the world already. So like, what's this year? This is 2018. If you in 2018, 7 years ago, if you're like, oh man, I should have bought Bitcoin 2018. Well, if you bought Nvidia, it would have crushed Bitcoin, right? Since 2018, Bitcoin has never outperformed Nvidia, right? Look at that. Look at that. It just never outperformed Nvidia. Look at that. Okay, maybe for like a moment or two in the last 10 months, right? It's still what Nvidia's done, 39%, 40%, Bitcoin's up like 65%, right? So, but if you say 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, oh no, I should have bought Bitcoin back then. Remember, back then, this is 2014. Yeah, it's crushed Bitcoin in the last 11 years. That's a silly comment to make, because remember in 2014, if you Google any news from 2014, if you just search your chat history with any of your friends, family, your dad, your mom in 2014, everyone told you Bitcoin was a scam. Everybody told you Bitcoin was a scam. But back then, so what does that mean? So that means you took a major risk on something that everybody thought was a scam. And I bet even if you bought Bitcoin in 2014, either you didn't buy a lot or you didn't even hold on to it very much because you're scared. You made like $10,000, $20,000 and you ran. It's also because Bitcoin does this, right? It goes down 80 to 85% every cycle. You took a much bigger risk by, I'd be surprised if you even bought $10,000, $20,000 Bitcoin back then and you held. But people regularly would buy NASDAQ stocks or New York Stock Exchange stocks like Nvidia. It's just a regular chip company. It's just, in fact, it was actually a pretty famous chip company. It's basically the most famous GPU chip company in the world, and kept on saying, we're going to do AI, we're going to do AI, we're going to do AI, right? Kept on saying that. And so basically, it's not a surprise that it's, so in that case, it's pretty normal for people to put 10, 20K on Nvidia. It's just another stock they buy, and that's how much they put on there. Nobody tells them it's a scam. In fact, the mainstream media was telling people to buy. What risks are you taking, right? Because it's not just about the investment returns; it's about the risk you're taking. When altcoin season comes, yes, we could buy some trench coin on Solana. Like, we're going trenching, man, trenching, bro. And you buy Solana coin. How much do you put on it? Yeah, it could go up like 10,000x or 1,000x. How much do you put on it? Would you be willing to put like $20,000 on some random coin called Elon's Jizzballs, right? Would you? Would you be willing to put $10,000 on it? Yeah? $10,000 at 1,000x would be $10 million. Yeah, you'd make $10 million. You'd be forever financially independent. But would you be willing to bet $10,000 on some random Solana coin? No, because it's about risk reward. How much did you risk and how much did you get out of reward? So basically, what's the lesson here? Buying Bitcoin, people would have said Bitcoin was the best investment of the last decade. It's actually not, because you would have had to buy knowing that you're buying something that everybody tells you, mainstream media, all your friends tell you is a scam. And it still underperformed something that the mainstream media and everyone told you potentially could be the biggest thing in the world if AI comes around. That's literally what they were saying 10 years ago. Oh, Pablo, no, they weren't saying that. It was just a gaming chip company. It was just a gaming. They kept on saying this gaming chip called GPU is going to be the biggest thing in the world when AI hits. You want to know how I know? Because the craziest guy, the worst stocks caller commentator in the world, Jim Cramer, called it, right? He named his dog Nvidia. He keeps on tweeting about naming his dog. He's got 2 pet dogs. Like, he rescues them from the pound. This is Jim Cramer. They even have an ETF against him called the Inverse Cramer ETF. Whatever he calls, they go the opposite. He even named 2 of his dogs Nvidia, right? Like basically, he's famous for this. He named his dog Nvidia. This goes way back, right? This goes way back. He does these rescue dogs. So it wasn't like as if the media, right? People knew he had 2 pet dogs named Nvidia. This wasn't like it was some strange phenomenon that came out of nowhere and everyone thought it was a scam and everyone was afraid to put $10,000 into it, right? Everyone who had a decent New York Stock Exchange portfolio probably did put $5,000 or $10,000 into Nvidia because it was a strong up-and-coming stock. And even mainstream idiots like Jim Cramer was talking about it all the time, right? Even names his dog Nvidia and reminds his followers every week. So what's the message here? The message is basically, you got to look at the risk reward. What are you risking and what is your reward? And there are other things outside of Bitcoin and crypto that performs better than Bitcoin or crypto. For example, such as what? Gold, about to hit another new all-time high, right? And look at this big run, right? 2x in the last year or so, right? That's actually beat a lot of altcoins, right? 2x. Basically, well, because basically if you or if we look a little bit longer, right? Since let's just say since 2016, right? It's gone from, let me just close this. It's gone from, it's done 3.5x, right? 3.5x. But you might say, oh, that's not a lot, but this is gold. Even Bitcoin tries to pretend to be gold by calling itself digital gold. This thing, there's a lot, let's just say there's a lot less risks with gold than there is with altcoins, right? Because it's literally gold. Like here, since 2020, how much has it done? It's basically gone from $12,000 to $40,000. So 3.5x silver in the last 4 years. Platinum up 80% or 70% in the last few months, right? Well, last 1 month. And Pablo's been calling it. Well, what's something else? Like, because when you guys, right, these are actually the coins that I watch all the time. Uranium doubled in the last year, right? Look at this. Gone from what, $20 to $40. and Pablo has been calling this all the time as well. What about this one? What's this? Oh, European defense stocks. Why? Well, because Trump keeps on saying, well, we're not going to defend Europe. We're not going to defend Europe. They have to defend themselves. It's gone up like almost doubled, right? $24 to $44, right? It's like 85%. And this is only from start of this year, right? If you look at some European weapon stocks, such as this one, Rheinmetall. Rheinmetall is a armor tanker producer in Switzerland. It was around $88 before okay. So let's just call it from the war started. This is when the war started in Ukraine. $153 now hit $1,900. So that's like a 13x run as well. That's outperformed Bitcoin. That's definitely outperformed Bitcoin. This European weapon stock, right? Outperformed Bitcoin this cycle, right? You know what else? Like all these stocks that I talk about, right? These are all China, Hong Kong stocks. These are the ones listed on the New York Stock Exchange. These are the ones that listed in China, for example. Like, a number of them have gone on 3-4x run. And you're like, oh yeah, but Pablo, 3-4x isn't that impressive. Sure, but if it's a stock that basically its product is used by like 1 billion people in China, how much risk are you taking? Nobody's going to tell you that's a scam. Don't put $10,000 on it, right? I put a lot more than that onto any of one of these stocks, right? $14 to $60. That's what, like 4.5x run, right? Like the Xpen, right? That's a company that sold over 1 million cars, right? I was telling my folks to getting around this $33 area, right? Now it's up 3x as well, 95. So basically, we added 3 times around here, and we added once more around here, right? So they're like, what's this one? Horizon Robotics. It's basically like one of the best chip designers for AI autonomous driving. So basically, from 351 to like 951, right? They behave like altcoins, right? They can easily do another 5x from here. That would make this 15x, right? Not financial advice. Like just coins randomly. I'm clicking on them, and Billy had what from $9 to $31, 4.5x run. And look at this. They're still down on basement bottom, right? And this is like a website. This is like an anime website in China. Literally, like 400 million kids use it, right? What if it breaks out? What if it breaks out of this bottom basin and just keeps on going? So basically, I do believe people are being kind of foolish by ignoring opportunities outside of crypto and Bitcoin. First of all, if you're into altcoins only, you've missed out on the massive Bitcoin run. And you might think that's the best thing in the world for the last decade, for the last 8 years, 10 years, 11 years, whatever. But Nvidia crushed Bitcoin, like I just showed you guys, and he didn't even have to take that much risk. 11 years ago, if someone asked you to put $10,000 in Bitcoin, you probably would think really hard about it. I don't know anyone who did that in my circle. But a lot of people just put $10,000 into Nvidia or into AMD. It's just another semiconductor chip stock, and it crushed Bitcoin, right? Gold, silver, platinum, European weapon stocks, China, Hong Kong stocks, uranium. There are all these things. Pablo has called them over the last 2 or 3 years that Pablo has been bullish on. I put a lot into them, right? I put a lot into crypto as well, but I put a lot into them as well. I have a balanced portfolio, right? Think about it, right? Especially after this bull run is over. Think about where you allocate your money, and is it wise to go, altcoins only, or crypto only? Thank you for tuning in, guys. I'll keep you guys updated.